Alumni Affairs intern for Center for Women's Studies. So today, happy Africana Women's Week. And happy Women's History Month. So a few announcements for y'all before we get started with our brown bag today. Today at 4:15 in Lawrence 105, Ms. Rhodessa Jones will be speaking at the Humanities Colloquium. You should all go, please. It's going to be amazing. You should all be there. And then today at 5 p.m. in Ritz, Melanie Cervantes, an artist and activist, will be giving a lecture as part of SOAR's African Women's Week. So please leave your chairs as they are here today. They usually help people away if you're able. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Bunch House, 100 Broad Street, there's going to be Vanessa. 80 Broad Street, sorry. Bunch is 80 Broad Street. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Vanessa's Trust, which is also part of SOAR's African Women's Week. The deadline for submissions for Allegro Filipina is March 13th. And Allegro Filipina is a literary arts magazine dedicated to issues of gender, sex, sexuality, and intersectionality. If you'd like to submit anything, please email wins@colgate.edu. So if you all need to leave before the end of today's presentation, if you could just leave quietly so as not to disturb the rest of the presentation, and please clean up any trash if you're able. Trash cans are in the back near the exit. Thanks so much for coming. So today we are so grateful to have Rhodessa Jones with us. Ms. Jones is co-artistic director of the San Francisco acclaimed performance company Cultural Odyssey. She is an actress, teacher, singer, and writer. Ms. Jones is also the director of the award-winning Medea project, Theater for Incarcerated Women, which is a performance workshop that is designed to achieve personal and social transformation with incarcerated women. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, a lot of folks. I'll just give you a little. I'm an old rock, so this is one of the things that really taught me a little. When you have to leave the church, just lift your finger and tip out. That won't be a finger. If you lift it up and storm out, I won't know what. Okay. I am Rhodessa. I am the daughter of Estella, the granddaughter of Flossie, of Anna, the mother of Sandra, and the grandmother of Chaz Nicole. It is the feminine lineage that in Haitian cultures, I stumbled upon this whole idea that it isn't the man's bloodline, it's the woman's bloodline that is to be carried on and to be honored. And so I taught my women in prisons. How many people saw me saw the group in San Francisco? Are you here? Good. You guys saw St. Cloud Memorial Church. How many people have read about me, have questions about me, are wondering why? We'll get to that. I was hired by the California Arts Council, oh my gosh, now it's almost 40 years ago. I got a call from the California Arts Council, which is the agency that gives artists jobs in California. And they called and they asked me would I be interested in teaching aerobics actually to incarcerated women. And I was like, okay, aerobics? That's interesting. So I went into the jails, and I was amazed at all of the black and brown women were there. I have 8 brothers, so I think I know something about African American men being incarcerated, but I was not prepared for all the women that were in jail. And they were mad as hell. Just mad about everything. Which is, I think, if women scratch the surface, we are pretty mad about a lot of things. Not all of us. That's black women, red women, white women, pink women, blue, green women. We're mad as hell about a lot of things. And we shouldn't, okay? We shouldn't. But you're going to be mad, but then what we're going to do? We have to make something happen. We have to change things. I just joined a group in San Francisco called The Black Woman is God. I'm down for it. I choose my lane, but I've seen a lot of shit. And I've had to wade through it, and I'm cool. You know, I'm fabulous. And I haven't killed anybody, and I wasn't killed during the night, as Lucille Clifton, the poet, would say. And so The Black Woman is God is a social movement. It started out with the visual artist, Karen Sinapru. And if you go on Facebook, you'll find the Black Women's Lodge. You'll find that organization. Please, she loved it. Let her know what's happening. If you come to the Bay Area, join it. You know, we meet in various places and we talk about how we're going to change things. How we, like our mothers before us. I hear a lot about the church, but I was saying to the driver yesterday, I was saying, you know, the church in the African American life was really where we could communicate. We could commune, together. We could come together and take care of each other in a lot of ways. And I think that the church for a lot of us has been that, and a lot of race, across race and this kind of, and of course the church has been there to oppress and kill people and tell people that they are not doing the right things and they're not living the right life. But as in this month, the beginning of this Women's Month, as an African American woman, as somebody's grandmother, I'm here to tell you that it's really about community. You know, and I'm a spiritual person. I'm not necessarily a religious person, but I'm terribly spiritual. I see ghosts and I know things do fly, okay? You know what I'm saying? And I've seen a lot of things and a few things have seen me too, okay? So, and that's for real. I've worked in Africa. I've worked in Trinidad. I've worked in Italy, and it's all inside of prisons with women. I'm a performing artist, of course. I'm a cabaret artist, but I've been invited across the land. I've been in Bamako, West Africa, working with women in lockdown. Because there's so many women going to jail these days, more women than ever before. When I first started, almost 40 years ago, I was moving through the jails at 850 Bryant Street in San Francisco, and there was this woman. I assumed she was black. You know, she was sitting there, a little disheveled, and I said, "Hello, are you going to go to the gym with us today?" And she started to speak, and it was a very thick English accent. And she says, I need help. I need to talk with someone. I really don't belong here. And of course the women are like, yeah, girl, right, whatever, we do this all the time. You know how we do. I know that bitch think you know something. And I said, well, what do we need to be talking about? And she told me this story. She had come to America looking for her grand uncle because her father, the family in England were having, there was a death of a patriarch in the family, and they said, you should go to America and find this person and let them know that the family's shifting and this is changing. This person was in San Francisco. She's directed to South of Market. And South of Market, how many people here are from San Francisco or been to San Francisco? You know, so South of Market is now very chic, and but it wasn't always that way. It was pretty funky, and that was where the folks, the street people, the people in their life hung out. And so this was like almost 30 years ago when I met this young lady. And she had been given an address in this part of town. And she's looking for this address, and all of a sudden she's caught up in a street. And all these sisters and women, all kinds of women are running towards her saying, fire in the hole, girl, 5-0, 5-0, fire in the hole. We all know what that means. The police. And these are hoes that know the deal. And they're running towards her. She's walking this way, and they're saying, girl, you gotta get the fuck out of here, blah, 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 blah. So the police catch everybody. And she is all of a sudden taken off to jail. And she has no idea what's going on, you know. And she says to the police, well, you know, I'm looking for my grand uncle. So that's what we call it now. And she doesn't understand. She doesn't. She said, yes, I'm looking for my grand uncle. And they plop her in jail. They just plop her in jail. That she doesn't know our system in this country. And all of a sudden she's been sitting there now for almost a month. And her family in England has no idea where she is. And Sean Reynolds, who's the social worker, who mentored me. I call in Sean and we meet with this young lady, and the girl tells us the story, this young woman, and Sean sort of tells me that this is how deep it goes. They don't care. This woman was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's up to her to figure it out. And we eventually got her out, and we got her back on a plane and back to England, but it took us a couple of weeks of just talking to the sheriff, because I got it like that. I just went to I said, "Look, Mike, this is crazy." And the sheriff always looked at me like, "What the hell is this woman who just kind of wandered into my office and started telling me how it's going to be done?" But Mike supposedly was this sheriff who believed that art changes lives, and I just put his feet to the fire. That's all. I was like, okay, I'm an artist in your jail, and there's somebody that should not be here, and you've got to help her, and you've got to help me to help her. And he got cracking and made a lot of things happen. He's since retired, but Mike Hennessy was he's just an extraordinary keeper of the keys. So this was my early experience in the jails. Sean Reynolds, who was there to mentor me, I remember Sean, the first big circle we had with me, and so Sean was getting her MSW at this time, so Sean was meeting these women all day long, and she was doing life counseling with them. And she says, okay, today this is Miss Jones, and because she's new to the circle, I want everybody to share with her something that we need to know about each other if we're going to work together. And the work gets deep and sensitive. So we need to, of course, people say, I don't take no stuff, I'm blah, 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 blah. I go off, blah, blah, blah. We're like, yeah, fine. And we all go off. So Sean says, well, I'm African American. I'm 48 years old. I'm a lesbian. And I'm writing a novel. Everybody went, oh, can we say we're lesbians? Sean said, if you're a lesbian, yeah, but don't say you're a lesbian now if you're not a lesbian. And they were like, oh. And that was so, and Sean looked at me like, what did I tell you? This is how deep it goes. But what I developed with that same idea is, what is it that you know about yourself from the moment you come into this room? If we're going to begin to make theater that's rooted in your life, your experience, your history, you are a mythical creature. We all are. We all are. It's better if people can jump off into it knowing something about themselves. I know that for me, my heart is much too big. I give it all away. I'm very generous. And I love to talk. I love to talk. And a lot of people, like, especially in this day and age, with the end of the reign of Obama and into the madness of maybe Trump, people are afraid. People are afraid. And I refuse to stop talking to everybody. I talk to everybody. I travel, I talk to everybody. I was on the plane. This was back when Charleston happened. And I'm going back. I've been with my family in Atlanta, and I'm headed back to San Francisco. I think that's how it was. I'm 67 years old, so so much has happened. So you have to forgive me. It was one of those things that happened. So I'm on the plane, and it's packed. And there's Southerners, white Southerners, and they feel lost. A lot of white Southerners, they don't know what the hell happened. How did Obama get in the White House? It's like, wait a minute, wait. And we can't kill black people anymore. Why not? And we can't lynch like you can't rape your brother's daughter. No. Okay. So that's a little hard, but So I'm going to the bathroom, right? I'm like, and I come out with this shirt. First of all, even black people are like, well, what the hell is that shirt? She's a heathen. That's what that is. So I'm walking, and I'm saying, hey, what are you doing? How you doing? And this big, burly white boy is coming towards me from the bathroom. He's like about, one of those movie star white boys with a bald head, about 6'5", huge. And I see him coming like, hey, I got this short hair. And another thing in this country, they don't know what I am, because I'm not blonde, I'm not looking like Beyonce. And they're like, well, is it a man? Is it a woman? You know? And I'm like, look at me. You gotta really look at me before you decide what I am. So I see him, he's fine. Okay, he's fine. He's a big old chicken fed white boy, he's fine. So I'm like, I'm coming towards him. He's like, you don't know if I'm a faggot. You know like, is this faggot looking at me? I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh, it's a woman, right? And the whole plane is watching. You know, my mother used to say, when you walk in the light, you better walk right because you don't know who's watching, right? So they wondered who's this crazy black woman anyway. And now here comes the quintessential white man. And we meet in the middle. And we're both standing there. And he's looking at me like, okay, what are we going to do? And I'm like, so he gets into it. He's like, I said, well, we got to meet like that again. The whole plane cracked up. And it was just one of those wonderful moments where it's like, let's just break the ice, y'all. There's a lot of problems we have in this world, but we better get with it. And we got to live here together. You know, and there was this thing that happened in Anaheim last week, I think, with the Klan. And these brothers wasn't having it, you know. They wasn't having it. And it was kind of scary to me because blood did drip. You know, somebody got stabbed, you know, but that's where we at. You know, like other side was that we're cool. I mean, it's like this young man, what's his name, Jesse on Empire. I've been talking to him about trying to get him to come to Berkeley. I'm teaching at Berkeley. I have several young gay men in my class, and they're all musicians. I love for them to meet him. I love for him to talk with him. And his agent is like, he's going to do it for free, you know, because this guy's not a big star. But maybe he will come, this guy. Maybe he will come because he's really interested. Like I said, I talk incessantly, and I'm talking a good game. He's probably going to come, but you know, his agent is like, you know, what are we going to do with this woman who won't leave us alone? But we can change the world. It's never happened overnight. As an activist, as an artist, the Medea Project, Theater for Incarcerated Women, is the work that I hold dear to my heart. Because I've seen the transformations in that group. I've seen women go from feeling like they're nobody to going on stage and saying, yes, I was a crack addict. Yes, all of my kids are in foster care. Yes, I did this, I did that, and I have HIV. And when women will stand up and say, yeah, when we will I create a public forum. And I say to the women, all I want you to do is tell the truth. And everybody's truth is valid. Everybody has a right to be speaking their truths. And I've seen just amazing things happen with the Medea Project and with women who have gotten out and they're moving on. But one of the things that interested me most, back in, oh my God, about 20 years ago, the Rockefeller Foundation asked me to do something called Partnerships Affirming Community Transitions. They asked the Medea Project, we engage ourselves. They commissioned us to make a piece about community transition. And one of the women in the group, I talked to them about being captives, and let us examine religion inside of the jail, you know. And a lot of folks are not ready for the fact that everybody's not a Christian. They'll be like, oh wow. I said, no, get to know somebody who's not a Christian, okay? Christian's okay, but it's not the final word. And I said, but I want everybody to respond to a captives conversation. I want everybody to put something into this work. I want everybody to respond to what it is to be a captive, to be a part of a captives conversation. And one of the women wrote a piece entitled Nigga. This is 20 years ago. Everyone wants to be one, but nobody wants to be one. That should be a criteria for being a nigga. A nigga meaning down, meaning macking, meaning packing, meaning hard, meaning you my nigga. What up, nigga? Nigga, please. First, to be a nigga, You have to have been a nigger at some point. Meaning being treated like a nigger. Meaning last hired, first fired nigger. Meaning 911 ain't sending nobody nigger. Meaning last welcome, first followed nigger. Meaning driving under the influence of Africa nigger. Meaning living the blues whether you can sing them or not nigger. Meaning death row nigger. You can't just put on some baggy pants, carve a swoosh in your head and call yourself a nigger. A nigger got a nigger's game and a nigger's pain rolled up in a word we all should be tired of by now. We're not. And now a nigger's the thing to be whether you've been a nigger or not. So those of us who are in danger of niggerly treatment from corn belt wannabe niggers, meaning people who package an insult and sell it back to us, yes, them. Those of us who have been niggers for real, meaning against our own definition, might as well take power over the word since it won't go away. Meaning taking power over our image, meaning setting our own standards of niggerdom. Meaning if we the niggers, then we should reap all the benefits of nigger-ishness, meaning cash. Meaning money takes the grr out of nigger. And you can call yourself a nigger if you must, but you need to pay props to us cotton picking niggers for the honor. You need nigger certification. And of course, nobody's tired of this word yet. We too busy making it all nigger good. Like if everyone's a nigger, then no one will notice that we're the niggers in this wood pile and being treated as such. Meaning, ain't that some nigger shit, nigga? And when the play niggas get tired or older or have kids or buy a house, what reason will they give for not wanting to live anywhere near no real authentic nigger-fied, niggerish niggers or niggas? They will grow up and on to another fashion craze. And once that happens, a nigger will be what a nigger has always been. Meaning a nigger. Thank you. That's Nancy Johnson. Thank you. I think brilliant. Isn't it brilliant? I was like, oh, girl, you never say nothing, huh? Yes. You know, because we're talking, I love to talk now. As we move along, you can ask me, we can stop and you can ask me questions right now. Anybody got a question? Bernie, it's your little heart tonight. You just want to touch bases with me? Come on now, don't let me get ready to go and say, Miss Jones, can I talk to you about now? No. I get so emotional too, you know, because I'm just so glad you're all here, and thank you for having me, and thank you for being interested, you know, in life. And yes, I know the black woman is God, but all women matter. Okay. All people matter, but all women do matter. We're going to decide that. I told my granddaughter the other day, she made me so mad. I said, look, I matter. She said, hi, Grandma. I said, you forget, I'm just not Grandma. Stop sucking on my tit. She goes, Grandma, I'm 25 years old. I'm not. I said, yeah, but you are. She's like, I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry. I love my granddaughter. Don't get it twisted. I can't kill you about her. She'll tell people, my grandmother will tell you about me. She'll tell her boyfriend that, okay? All right, now this is a piece that was written when I worked at Glide Memorial Church. They asked me to come in. This is about, oh my God, 25 years ago? They asked me to come in and work on something that they have called Breaking the Cycle of Violence, domestic violence. And this was a Japanese woman who wrote this, and she came to the group and she wrote this piece, and it's entitled, When Did Your Hands Become a Weapon? When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? I remember when we first met, you took good care of me, made sure I was set. You brought me flowers, sang me love songs. How was I to know that everything would go wrong? You would hold me tight in your arms, said your love would last, and you used all your charms. Your hands caressed me, made me feel so good. Damn, I know my cries of pleasure woke the neighborhood. When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? But then things changed, and I should have known when sweetie baby honey turned to fucking bitch and hoe, and things got worse. And when you got high, came home and beat me till I bled without a reason why. And my cries still woke the neighborhood, but they were cries of pain and not from nothing good. But I stayed there until it became clear that I should be feeling love, but I was feeling only fear. When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? So I packed my things. I didn't say goodbye. Didn't care that I would leave you there hanging high and dry. And now I'm free, but scarred for life. And you can bet your stinking ass it ain't gonna happen twice. When did your hands become a weapon? When did love become a curse? Thank you. So in the Medea project, my job has been is to bring to women all the issues that affect all of our lives. You know, and that's all of us. I worked in the Glide project. There was a wonderful woman named Donna, a white woman who was just dripping gold. Donna was very well dressed, and but something was wrong. And first she spoke in this little girl's voice. And first of all, that's something. This woman was 50 years old. She was still speaking like she. We find out because Donna did the program with us. She did an interesting thing on Martha Stewart. She did this whole takeoff on Martha Stewart, and but then she left the group because her husband every year bought her a brand new car, a Lexus, a Rolls Royce. She had a beautiful condo on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. And she couldn't give up the life because the trade-off was that he had the right to have his buddies come over. And she had to do all these animal tricks with him while he filmed it. And he insisted that she wear all the gold. And she couldn't give it up. She said, what would I do? Where would I live? What's going to happen to me if I leave him? And I said, well, honey, you'll get a chance to start over. But she disappeared. She stopped seeing us. You know, she stopped. And this is like some of the tragedies of the Medea Project, because it's like you got to meet people where they're at, you know. And I hope she's okay. I hope that she's alive. But it was shocking. And at the same time, as a woman, she'd never worked a day in her life. She had never worked. She had been a very cute, perky blonde. And the trade-off was that this man had, he could call the shots about her behavior, and he got to film it all. And him divorced. That was a Friday night at her house. And that was okay. You know, it's you know, at the same time, my job in the Medea Project is to say, is that okay? Is that okay? And a lot of women go, hell no. You know, the black woman like, no, honey, and the white girls who've been around the block, they're like, yeah, you're right, no, that ain't okay. That ain't okay. And then you have, and now we have Asian women, and Spanish women, of course, they're like, they've been to the deal and back, met the devil and found him to be a very dull dude. They say, no, it's not okay. And then the work is about women pulling a circle together and us sharing information. And then we do the shows. I meet them sometimes 4 to 6 months inside. We make a show publicly, and then the Sheriff's Department, the Department of Sociology, they bring in the record industry, because some women can blow, they can really sing. And these people are all there for the gala event, and my job at that point is to encourage them to talk to people, to collect cards, especially if you're getting out of jail, and make a run for it, make a break for a new life. You know, that's what my job is when they've gone through the process. And there's been some really good a good turnout, but there's been a lot of really sad things that have happened too. And we're still at this place where, are we worth it? I mean, in America, when Planned Parenthood is totally under siege all the time, and those people who are pushing pressure, they have no right. This is my body. I know. Thank you. I know when I can carry a baby to full term. And yes, I know you should use a condom. Well, you know, sometimes things happen. Okay, they happen. Or if somebody and I we're close. Baby, this is my man. And my family. There's been women. Like I said, I have 8 brothers. There's been women in my family that have had abortions because they can't afford. They can't take care of the baby now. And I said, please, consider that baby. Consider that baby before, you know, because, yeah, God. And I say to God, look, God, you know what? If this woman's going to carry this baby full term, could you make sure this baby's born with at least $1 million check attached to his toe? Please, God. If not, we got a lot of time to do. Okay? Because it's not fair to beautiful. I love children. I love, you know. I mean, they're just so round and sweet. You know? As my Vietnamese friend Rose says, we want them while they're tender. It scares those children. She goes, I like them tender. So we're like, okay, I'll be good. But, you know, babies, you know, because in the work, there's a young woman that I work with, Elise, Latina girl. Elise has been, she's now on her own, and she's totally mad as a hatter. She's totally out of her mind, but she's in jail on her own accordance now. But from the time she was 6 years old, her mother and father were both addicted to crack, traded this child to crack dealers, you know, for the dope. And it just gets that crazy, you know what I'm saying? It just gets that crazy, and it's on a lot of levels. I'm not even here to place judgment on people because I don't know. I don't know what takes you to the brink, you know? I smoke cigarettes. I'm addicted to nicotine. I know it could kill me, but I don't smoke as much because I still want to be fabulous and cute. But, you know, I do. That's my drug. And and my father was an alcoholic, so I'm careful with, I'll have a little bourbon once in a while, but my father was an alcoholic. He was a functioning alcoholic, but he was an alcoholic. I have enough information to know I've got to watch what I do. But then, I don't know when people get addicted to crack or heroin. I wasn't there when it started to feel that good and nothing else mattered, you know, and people will tell me it was never a party. You know, it was never a party. They just found what they thought was going to be the medicine. But in the meantime, a lot of people were destroyed in the way. Are there any questions? She over here writing. Yeah. So my work in the Medea project and in the lives of women is that it's about helping women to know that there is an intersection between our freedoms, poetry, culture. You know, I work in Africa. I work in Johannesburg. I work at the Naturena prison for women, and that's a whole different culture, though. South Africa is an epicenter of culture. It's an amazing place to be. If you haven't, how many people have been to Africa or you are African? Okay. There's something about South Africa that I love, and that it's an epicenter of culture. It's just, I went there, I was invited there by Rajni Munsami, who had something called Urban Voices. And Urban Voices brings artists from all over the world, and she presents them in Johannesburg. I was doing a piece, I made a piece based on women turning 50 with HIV. I turned 50, and I was suffering with insomnia, and if you know anything about me, and now you do know, that my work stems from it is autobiographical, that I want to explore what's really happening to me. So I was turning 50, and I was experiencing insomnia, so and my new group of women in jail, I said, you know, how many of us are turning 50? And some women are like, girl, Alex, you can tell everybody your business. I said, well, people will share their business. How many of us are 50? And some women said, I'm 50, and I just found out that I'm HIV positive. So I'm going into menopause, and I'm HIV positive. So I made a piece based on interviews with women who are living with HIV. And I did it at NYU at the Yari Yari conference in New York. It was amazing. It was one of the most amazing shows of my life. Octavia Butler was there, Alice Walker was there, Toni Morrison was there, Catherine Cleaver was there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, y'all can turn out the light and call the law. I'm done. And they were all there to see my show, which was in a classroom. And Rajni Musami's Indian woman comes up to me and she says, I'm from South Africa. If I can get the money for you to come to South Africa to do this work, would you do it? Would you come? I said, sure, yeah, no doubt. I think it was going to be 2 or 3 years, you know. Boom, 4 months later, this woman calls and says, I got the money, are you ready to come to South Africa? And now I have a relationship with the prison in South Africa. And I said to Rajni, I said, you know, I will do this work, I will do Big Butt Girls. Anybody ever read my play, Big Butt Girls, Hard-Headed Women? You should read it, go in search of it. It's based on my early work with incarcerated women and the ages of women. I've been an artist's model for years and years and years. So my friend Lorraine was doing this, she was doing this series of life-size sculptures of the ages of women, the crone, the virgin, the matron, the siren. And so I was modeling for all these things with her. And at the same time, I'm working in the jails and I'm seeing them there. I'm seeing the ages of women in the jail. The Mama Pearl, who was the oldest con, you know. And then there was Regina Brown, who was the most amazing, magnificent woman I'd ever seen. She was so powerful. Doris, the baby having babies. Lena was an interesting young white woman from Tiburon who had become addicted to meds. She was a ballerina. She went off to the American Ballet to dance, to study, and she broke her foot. And she started doing Demerol. And bam, she got caught out there, as they say, and came back to San Francisco strung out. You know, and this was her father. She was her father's dream. You know, ballerinas are not. You know, of course we have. But what's the beautiful black ballerina? What's her name? Yeah, see, we all know her. But then a ballerina really is about this big. You know, really. And so Lena, when I started teaching movement in the county jail, I'd look out of the corner of my eye, and Lena would be back there shadowing me. She was just this beautiful mover, but she was covered in scars, and you know, because she was a junkie now. And I find out that this girl had been this amazing dancer, and when her father caught her shooting up in the house, he threw her out of the house. So she had 2 or 3 more years out on the street. And I'm just giving you all these pictures because this is the community. But we all bleed, and we all have vaginas, and we all, you know, we put our hearts out front, and they get broken and ran over, and all that stuff. So, welcome to International Women's Month, you know. And I think we get up off the ground. I had a mother say, well, don't lay there crying. You got to do something. My mother was like, oh, When I got pregnant at 15. I was a mother before I was a woman, and my mother said, you know, you're going to have this baby. Me and your daddy going to help you with this baby, but you got to finish school. Because I was ready to go into hiding, you see. I was ready to go, She said, oh, no, you're not. And then, of course, my bitchy sister-in-law was like, you made your bed hard, so now you have to lie in it. But between those 2 girls, I got it together. And, but, you know, so I give you these pictures because I give you the stories. And what I found out what happens for me is that, yes, it started out being my work. I am an activist and an artist, and I'm a womanist. But you know what happened for me most recently? I'm writing a book about being a mother before I was a woman. And that was part of the journey of working with incarcerated women, was trying to make sense of it all. trying to make sense of where, what can I share with somebody now, and it's been a whole nother journey I'm on, looking at the lives of us girls who had babies before we were grown. And I met a girl named Edith Tannenbaum this summer. No, my daughter was 2. And Edith she's a Jersey girl. She was a character. And we were out on this balcony talking about, because Woodstock's about to happen, and we were out there smoking a joint, we're talking. And she says, if I kept my kid, she said, my kid would be about 3 or 4 now. And she said, but I told my whole family, look, it's my life, right? And I've already had my baby, and it was just wonderful to be talking to a girl on a balcony on a summer night about we're smoking a joint, and she's like breaking it down. This is the deal. She said, it's your life, and nobody had ever talked to me that way. Nobody had ever told me that I should have the final word. And again, I keep making reference to race and color because I love being in the mix, because all of us got something to bring to the table. We all got something to share with each other, so, and I remember just thinking, yeah, that's it. I will never be caught in this situation again. I will be the one who decides, because this girl, this Jersey girl is saying, oh, hell no. She said, I'm going to Nepal, I'm going here, I'm going there. She was headed out to travel. We were the same age, and I had a 2-year-old daughter, and she had given hers away. She said, I had it, but I gave it up for adoption. She said, and God bless it, because she said, the poor kid with me? Oh, Jesus. We're laughing. But womanism, being women together, it's, there is a political action inside of that we must not don't get it twisted. The whole thing with Beyonce and Formations and Melissa Perry, who loses her job on, MSNBC, because I love her. They are the ones they're the ones that's going to suffer. But she lost her job because those men, I'm sure, said, you're not bringing that on TV. You're not doing that. You should be dealing with the election. And she says, no, I want to deal with this. And she did it anyways. And she lost her job, And Beyonce, I just love Beyonce because it's just fabulous. It's like the fairy tale, like, oh my God, you did what? Oh my God, you married Jay-Z? Oh my God, you have more money than God? Oh my God. And she looks like she'd be okay. I mean, she's probably she's no intellectual giant, I'm sure, but the girl knows how to make money, and she's fabulous. She knows what her brand is, okay? She knows this. And so I could not believe that they would not let this woman do this whole thing on Formations. I mean, I had like Beyonce, I'd be up there laying on a police car, sinking in the water too. I mean, and it's like people say, oh, hey, Jay-Z's ugly. I remember to say, honey, but he's pretty in some bank. He's pretty in some bank, and he knows what he's got, okay? And everybody's talking about Drake and Beyonce about it. He's looking at Drake like, oh, nigga, don't even try it. I will cut your throat. And Beyonce's like, oh, no, I'm a queen. Jay. But I do love Drake. I think Drake is such a sweetheart. And I was probably I ran up to Michael Jackson many years ago. I said, I love you, Michael. And I was like, who's this lady? In this limo, and I'm on the top of the car going, I love you, Michael. He's like, but I tell you that because we got to be down with each other. I feel it's my job that I got to know what's going on. My granddaughter, I got to be able to talk to that little chick real, it's like, she can't be snowing me. I've got to know what's going on, as well as my granddaughter told me many years ago. She said, Grandma, you're really beautiful, but Grandma, you have to be careful because you're old. I said, okay, come into the mouth of the babes, I'll take that. But it's like she keeps me informed, and we talk all the time, about everything. And I may lament being somebody's mama at an early age, but the other side of it said, I remember what it's like to be a girl. You know, it's the joy of being a young mother, a grandmother, is that I remember. My daughter, no, she's a Rottweiler, that's a whole nother. But my granddaughter and I are cool. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So I kind of wanted to ask you, because you said a few things about like women having vaginas and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, because I think our criminal justice system tries really well to separate people based on biology, especially in actual prisons. So I wonder if you do any work around like trans women specifically, or like if you try to do that, or is it just like when you get commissioned for a group, you kind of just like go with whatever that group's attracted to?
Well, I become a real expert with incarcerated women, because incarcerated women, it's really about the history of the vagina. And that's what has interested me, and I was sent in to do that. Trans women, I've met them, you know, and now it's a new flavor, you know. So I'm going to be going into the Women Positive, which is a clinic in San Francisco. Dr. Eddie, the same person who has turned me on to women with HIV, he wants me to go in and work with trans women. I'll be working with trans women, so that'll be interesting. I'll find out more about them. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I knew it would be that way. I met several women, trans women, many years ago, and the problem was nobody was educated enough about how we were alike. And they weren't interested. There was 3 of them in my group, and they weren't interested in women's sorrows and women's stories. You know, they hadn't claimed it yet. You know, we were still fish to some degree. You know, but no, to answer your question, is inevitable, and I will be working with trans women. And I had a great group of transvestites. I had a great group of drag queens. I've done a lot of, I've done choreography with them, you know, yeah, it's inevitable if I stay in this area, but I want to work with women, biological women, because so much of our problems stem from this thing here, you know, this vagina, you know, and it's like, and we don't even know, a lot of women don't know how to even look at it. Thank God for Eve Ensler's, the vagina monologues, and I remember reading an article, and Eve said that her publisher said, well, why are you going to put vagina on the cover of the book? And she says, what do I call it? The Pussy Chronicles? Would that be okay? You know? And it's like, and still it's like there are women that you say, well, what do you call it? Which is one of the things, and there are women like, oh my God, I don't even look at it. You know, it's like, you don't. You know, it's like, I'm having a wonderful cyber love affair right now with someone. It's great. But my girlfriend's like, aren't you going to go down to LA and see him? And blah, 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 blah. I said, I got to get this vibe, because I like to be naked, honey. I like to be buck naked when I'm doing the damn thing. I don't want to be like, you know, we may have to use the comments, I don't know him, but I want to be able to, I gotta be buck wild, and I gotta be like, hey, you know, I gotta wrestle. I have 8 brothers. I like wrestling. I like jumping up here, hitting them down, you know. And I can't be worried about. I don't mind my stretch marks, but I gotta get off. I'm a little too round here. Anyway, so those might work. But that's a very good question. But it's inevitable that as the world is shifting, it's happening. Yeah. Who else? Who has a question? Are we all working? That's how that really work out. Any more questions? Yeah, it's a question. Anybody got a question? You know, everybody all titillated. But Jones is gonna be naked and bed with that man. No. What's up, y'all?
I'm just feeling like thinking about so much, so I don't really know like how.
You look so much like my niece Alicia. You look just like her spirit is in this room in here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you really do.
But like with my friends, you talking about.
You want to stand up so we can hear you? Pretend we're on Oprah.
Like my friends, a lot of them, which are like women of color, especially like Black women, we talk about having spaces, and like the whole problem was not being able to be Black and woman at the same time. simultaneously in spaces, so I just wanted you to speak on that a little bit. It's not really a question, but
Well, I think that you just have to take it. You know, you have to just take it and run with it. You know, I mean, and that's a lot. I love the things on Facebook where they have these beautiful, beautiful black women. You know, and it's about no bleaching and all this kind of stuff. But there's this sooty, beautiful women. What's her name? Lapita. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, just see, we all go, you know, but we have to do it. You don't have to wait for anybody's permission. You have to move up and do it. But I'll tell you one thing, working in Africa, people talk about, oh, you know, this is our extensions, and she said, honey, in Africa, we got it like that. You can do whatever you want with your hair. It isn't about, oh, you're bald-headed. No. In an African prison, next to the sewing room, the beauty parlor is the biggest space in the prison. And there are women with shaved heads. There are women with extensions. There are women that have woven all kinds of fabrics in their hair. And it's so it's like, that's what I learned being in Africa. At first I was like, oh God, Beyonce and Colgate, everybody wants to be blonde. But then I've been working there for 10 years. And it's like, they do everything because my mother used to tell me I had the best hair for perming because it's nappy. You know, she's like, you got that good hair. You can do all kinds of things with it. And now I can appreciate that. And I did have extensions. I had, you know, I had the braids. I had Diana Ross's guy did my hair once many years ago in Amsterdam. So I had like all this, all that. But I think back to your question, if I'm right, it's like we can't be both things at the same time. Yes, we can. We gotta name it. We gotta do it. You know, we just gotta like move into it, you know, and take it. I just read a wonderful article about Lauryn Hill, and I wasn't aware of how much she was a game changer for hip hop and this kind of stuff, a female. And of course, what we know is, oh, she lost her mind, she went crazy, she went to jail and all that. Well, there was a lot of pressure on Lauryn Hill, not to imagine having babies for Bob Marley's children, you know, I mean, and that might have been a choice. I mean, the DNA would be fabulous to have a baby by one of the Marleys. But what that was, and the betrayal, but I think that we have to take it. We have to take it. We have to decide that I'm all of these things. Audre Lorde was I was reading something over in the Alana building, I think, and she was saying, I have to be all of these things to do my best work, to be my best self. And it isn't easy, but you have to decide that's one of the things that I'm no longer hiding. This is all of me. You know, it's like, you know, it's all of me. And it's one of the great loves of my life was this crazy Irishman. And he would say to me, he'd say, you know, Ro, when you get it all together, the world had better get ready. I mean, because it was like, because I would read him. And then let me tell you one thing, white boy. Well, goddamn. And I'd say, you need to hear this because and I didn't even know about privilege. This was 20 years ago. I didn't have the term privilege down, but I would have to straight, and he loved it. He would just go, okay. I said, but remember this, because next time I'm slapped. He goes, I said, that's where I come from, honey. Don't make me mad. Don't make me have to hit you. Because I will. And like, well, you know what I said? Who said that? I'm tired of the white gaze. Read Toni Morrison's The Literary Imagination. Read Toni Morrison's book. Oh my God, it's a little book all about literature. What is it called?
Staying in the Dark.
Yes. Read that book. Because it's back to who are we playing for? It's time to play for us. We need it. You're so beautiful. Oh, there's a whole energy about you. Yes, you are, girl. You are. And there is somebody waiting out there to see you. Somebody waiting to see you do your thing, so she'll be moved. Just be whole. You know, that's all I can say is that we have to get past the white gaze, and that's not putting nobody down. It's just that that's the truth and what this literary imagination in America has been built on. What white men think and what white men write, and we know Morrison. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like and if you haven't read, everybody read Toni Morrison if you haven't. Because she's telling the story from where she's living and being and sitting, you know, and then her little book is an amazing little book. Yes, ma'am.
So what if the black men are doing more harm than the white men?
Oh, I ain't talking about men. I'm talking about women. You know what I'm saying? It's like, men, you mean as far as like, break it down a little more to me.
You're saying we have to get away from like the white gays and like the like white women and like white like men. Thing, but like what if because in this whole like mission of solidarity, especially in like the Black Lives Matters movement, we see women, trans women, cisgender women, all sorts of women writing for like Black men, men of color, but to a certain extent, the same isn't being done. So I know you're
From
talking
their
about
side.
from their side, like like the white gays, male gays, all these different things. But what if like the people who are supposed to be in the corner, i.e. white men, for example, are doing more harm?
Well, I think you have to just
erasing like Black femininity.
You got to be willing to stand in your own truths, and it's lonely sometimes. It's lonely, and but there are men that will come around. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, they need us to be trailblazers. We want somebody to stand with, and this is my husband, and we're gonna be together. You know, and but we want that because that's what we're taught back to Christianity and all that. And but I think that women, it's our time. It's our time. I mean, I ain't really feeling Hillary Clinton, but hey, if it comes down to Hillary, I gotta vote for somebody. I love Bernie, but they gonna desecrate Bernie, you know. But it's time. It's time. And I would say to you, you gotta really start practicing standing in your truth. And ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody coming. We might stumble upon them, but ain't nobody coming to save you, to help you. It's better to build your own little city or your own little castle on the mountain and open the doors and say, "Come ye, come all." But that's where it's at. And when you can, you just gotta school your brother. You gotta school your brother. But it means everybody comes with a big stick. You know, I'm serious. I mean, I'm serious. It's like because all women, though, we love our men, and Black women, we love our men. We love our men. We forget ourselves. And whenever you say baby, can't nobody else say baby like a brother. A brother can be 70. Hey, baby. What's up, baby? Hey, what's going on, darling? You know, I mean, I love it. My old uncles, they're fabulous. I mean, it's like, and it breaks my heart for the ones that disappeared. I have uncles that disappeared, great uncles that disappeared, and they got caught up in that railroad. They got arrested and they built railroads. They were worked to death. Never heard from again. And then the ones that I know, I look at them and I go, well, what about the ones that disappeared that I never met? So we love them, and that's right there. I have 8 brothers, you know, and my mother told me lynching stories. My mother told me about, my mother grew up in Georgia, and they were taken to lynchings to see them. You know, when Rodney King, the whole thing went down with Rodney King, we're all sitting in the kitchen on Easter Sunday talking, and my mother is listening. My father long since died. And my mother said, you know, white folks got to realize it ain't slavery time no more. And we were like, you know, because she didn't usually say anything. Then she told us about being carted into a wagon, and you were taken to see this lynching, you know. And it was like, just let you slaves all know, I'm still dealing with it. And we're talking about the 20s now. We're talking about the 20s and the 30s in Georgia. And so we love our men, also that kind of loss, you know, like, again, Beloved, Morrison's Beloved, which took me 2 years to read. I had to keep going back and going, okay, now what's going on here? You know, it was intense. But it's like, just know that, and know that you are all right in yourself. You're all right. You know, we would like more help. But men are men, and men have been given a direction that and that's what happens to our men a lot of times. They think that they're free. They think they ain't free like dumb people is over there. Call the police. I'm the motherfucking police. And now the police is coming in and just gunning people down, you know? You know, so just know that you gotta stand in your own truth. That's what I would say. If anybody wants to feed into this her help, because it is a big question. It is, and you're my baby brother. One of my baby brothers is Bill T. Jones. So, the dancer, and if you don't know Bill T. Jones, check him out. And he's all that. He's won every award there's to win. And he has a play on, he's had Fela on Broadway, then he had Spring Awakening on Broadway. Largely it's time consuming, because I've had to work to be a fabulous woman. I've had to work to be an orgasmic woman. I've had to work to be a fully expressed woman. I've had to do all these things. I suppose you have to do it anyway, but I think that there's something crippling that happens as young girls, and we feel like but I think all girls are taught that somehow they were supposed to, give men, the pass, and it's, and Lord help white women with privileged men. That's a whole nother ball game. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, oh my God, but that's what I would tell myself. I just tell myself that, hold on to myself. I am enough. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You talked about how so much of your womaness is tied to your vagina, and how so much problems we've had, cisgender women is tied to our vagina too. So I guess I want to know how you've reclaimed your vagina and how you encourage the women in the prisons you go and teach to reclaim their vagina too.
Well, I got into a lot of trouble in the jails, but I'll first talk about myself. I grew up, how many women, the professors here, Our Bodies Ourselves was a book that came, all right, testify. Our Bodies Ourselves was this book that was put together for us as the women's community to examine our vaginas and to examine, and we would get together and have these parties, where you would have speculum and all this stuff, and we would look at ourselves, it was like, and at first it was like, oh, this is so weird, but after a while, it made, if I'm not looking at it and being clear about what it is, how can I direct somebody else to know how to look at me, how to touch me, how to hold me. Now back to getting in trouble. When I first went to the jails, I had a lot of little prostitutes, little girls on the streets with their little pimps. They'd gotten busted, whatever. And we did a masturbation workshop. I said, I want you to go this weekend. I want you to go back to your bed, and I want you to find that spot that feels good, and I want you to play with yourself. I want you to have, because some women had never had orgasms. They'd never had orgasms, and they've been selling this for him, and it was just, of course, some of the women thought it was nasty, so they went to the deputies, and some of the prisoners went to the deputies and told. Some of the deputies was like, now, what did you do, Jones? I said, I just wanted them to touch themselves. I want them to know it's to be touched. They're like, yeah, that's true. That's no shit, those things. So, and then one girl said, I'm calling this man up and I'm firing him. And I love that. She's a prostitute. She said, I'm calling him, he's fired. She said, because he told me what an orgasm was. She said, it was nothing like what I found on Saturday night. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So my name is Ani. And so I've been taking this gender and society course that focuses on Africa, and so we've been trying to kind of deconstruct the dominant narrative of African women as victims. And so I'm wondering, in your experience working with women in prisons in South Africa and maybe other parts of the continent, how maybe your work has kind of challenged that narrative in itself as African women as victims.
Well, it's always, again, as somebody else's gaze from the outside. I think I'm following you and I understand what you're asking about. But in South Africa, I found it was much more about economic apartheid. I found that because the group that I met when I first went into jails 10 years ago, they were the group that was educated under Nelson Mandela. So they were very educated, but still apartheid reigned, and people weren't making any money. And there was an old hoe in San Francisco who told me that. She said, Ms. Jones, look at, you ain't got no money, you don't get some. Whatever it takes. Back to Africa, the Nigerians would come in, and they would woo these beautiful women. You know, it's like the Nigerian men would come in, and Nigerian men are fine. And they talk that talk, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, they are.
And they would talk these women into, they talk them into falling in love with them. I met so many of these women in jail. And for 3 or 4 years, you have a relationship with this man. He's taking care of you, the children in school. And the weirdest thing is that it's all a setup. And I saw women's hearts be broken because they were like, I heard the story of 3 different variations where he would decide that it was time for him to take the baby. One woman had a baby with this man. He was going to take the baby to see his mom and Legos. He was gone. Baby, him, gone. But the friend, a mutual friend, said to her, she said, well, you know, I know how you can make money. And it was about being a mule. Being a mule. And everybody knows what a mule is? So being a mule where you travel back and forth from Sao Paulo to Johannesburg, from as far away as the border of Afghanistan and Russia, back to South Africa with cocaine in your vagina, with heroin in your vagina. And soon you're going to get busted. But the Nigerians, they are the mafia in South Africa. You know, yeah, they are. They have, and I hear that they are literally taking over whole villages now, and they're cooking the crack. When I first started, there wasn't any crack in South Africa. And weed is pretty much free, but now it's like, everybody grows it on their farms, just so warm in Africa. But and so women were victimized that way, and very, very shattered and heartbroken, and that's the strangest and heaviest one, because based on love, you know, you said you loved me, and then you abandoned me, you know, and then I do this with your friend, who's a female, who sets you up to go back and forth, and back to race and color. The darker you are, you have to realize that sooner or later you're going to get busted. You're going to get busted by customs. It's just, get ready. You know, that's how it happens. And then Leah, who's my Afrikaans friend, a white woman who's in jail with us, she was a gorgeous platinum, silver woman, platinum blonde hair, white skin, tall. She was their girl. Because they were always going to let her through. Because she was this white woman with this gorgeous body, high-heel shoes, and she didn't even have to put the stuff in her vagina. She would walk through with her briefcase. But she said, I'm too nervous. She said, because she had 2 children. And she said, I don't want to do this anymore. They dropped a dime on her. So she had to do 5 years in prison as well. But it's like race and color. I mean, it's like that's what I saw as women being victimized all over the place. Yeah. So, yeah.
Can we thank Ms. Jones for being with us? And if you want to continue the conversation, please come at 4:15, Lawrence 105. But thank you so much.
We'll actually get to see snippets of her actual show.
Thank you.